Welcome to this explainer. If you've been trying to figure out how your brain actually works, you've probably noticed something. The standard textbook descriptions of autism, they just don't quite fit your lived experience. Today, we're diving straight into expert research to guide you through the hidden, non-standard signs of autism. Let's get right into it.
So, why do standard autism tests seem to miss so much of what we actually go through? Well, the reality is that adult autism discovery almost never starts with a clinician noticing you struggling with social cues. Usually, it starts when you begin to recognize deep, hidden traits within yourself, traits that completely slip under the radar of standard diagnostic criteria.
And the sources we're exploring today completely validate this. Realizing you might be autistic often comes precisely from identifying these lesser-known, deeply impactful signs. For high-masking adults, this journey to self-realization is profoundly internal. It's really not about how the world sees you, it is entirely about how you experience the world.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover the hidden sides of autism, emotional extremes, pathological demand avoidance, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, autistic burnout, and finally, the mind-body connection.
All right, Section 1, Hidden Signs of Autism.
The overarching theme from our sources is that neurodivergence is truly a whole-body experience. High masking completely obscures standard criteria. On top of that, autistic traits frequently overlap with trauma, like CPTSD, making it incredibly tricky for clinicians to separate the two. Because these signs are internal, a lot of neurodivergent adults feel profoundly isolated. You might have been told you make too much eye contact, or you're just too imaginative to be autistic. So let's look at the specific signs that offer true validation.
Moving to Section 2, Emotional Extremes, specifically RSD and limerence.
Sign number 1 is Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria, or RSD. Now, this is an intense, often overwhelming emotional pain triggered by just the perception of being rejected, criticized, or even simply failing at a task. This brilliantly explains why everything feels so intensely personal. It absolutely wreaks havoc on emotional regulation because your nervous system is reacting to a perceived slight as if it were an actual physical threat.
Sign number 2 is very closely connected, autistic limerence. We are not just talking about a simple crush here. This is an intense, all-consuming attachment or obsession directed toward another person. Neurodiversity dramatically shapes our attachment styles. Think about it. When you combine a nervous system that feels rejection as literal pain with a brain wired for deep hyperfocus, you get a uniquely intense relational experience.
Section 3, Pathological Demand Avoidance. Sign number 3 is pathological demand avoidance, or PDA. As expert Diane Gould notes, a lot of advocates actually prefer the term pervasive drive for autonomy because it better captures the truth of the situation. This is a severely anxiety-driven need for control. Avoiding everyday demands isn't a stubborn choice for someone with PDA. It literally feels like a biological necessity for survival.
The crucial point here is understanding the difference. Oppositional defiant disorder is a won't-do-it scenario. PDA is a can't-do-it scenario. Even if it's something the person really wants to do, the pressure of the expectation can paralyze their nervous system. That demand acts like a massive brick wall they simply cannot climb over.
Which brings us to a vital realization from Diane Gould. Standard behavioral strategies like strict boundaries and reward charts actually increase anxiety for PDAers. If you reward them on Monday, they're suddenly terrified of failing on Tuesday, and that just ramps up the pressure. For these individuals, autonomy and collaboration aren't just nice bonuses, they are literally like oxygen.
Section 4, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Sign number 4 is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS, which proves that autism isn't just in the brain. This is a group of hereditary connective tissue disorders. Connective tissue is basically the glue holding your body together. EDS is deeply intertwined with autism and results in hyperflexibility, chronic joint subluxations, where the joint slides partially out of place, and major sensory processing issues. Look at the massive gap in the data here. Dr. Emily Casanova's research shows that historical chart reviews put the overlap of autism and EDS at just about 3%, but newer estimates suggest it could be anywhere from 10 to 15%. Both of these conditions are severely underdiagnosed, especially in women. That means a huge portion of the population is dealing with this physical overlap without any medical validation at all. The physical toll of this is very real.
EDS often presents as severe growing pains in childhood, velvety skin that bruises easily, and just general clumsiness due to poor proprioception, meaning your brain struggles to figure out where your body is in space. Crucially, EDS causes autonomic dysfunction. It keeps your body in a high sympathetic tone, meaning your nervous system is constantly stuck in a state of fight or flight.
Section 5. Recognizing autistic burnout.
Sign number 5 is autistic burnout. Listen, this is not just feeling tired from a long week. As advocate Chris described it, the realization that your mind and body are broken feels like being crushed by an aircraft carrier. It is a devastating combination of constant fatigue from daily sensory pounding and masking. That leads to severe cognitive decline until your system literally forces a shutdown to survive.
Dr. James Thatcher gives us a brilliant metaphor for this. Imagine your nervous system is a phone battery. You run a lot of background apps. Work, social life, masking, sensory processing. But if you are always hovering at 10% and never truly charging, your body just starts shutting down external apps to protect the hardware. You aren't failing. Your body is systematically shutting down features to protect your nervous system.
So how do you plug the charger back in? Chris discovered that his missing ingredient was joy. He went out and bought a remote control car he'd always wanted as a kid. He took it to the park, started playing, and for the first time in years, he was giggling. Embracing that kind of unstructured, judgment-free play is literal medicine. It tells your brain it doesn't need to worry right now, finally allowing that 10% battery to begin to recharge.
Finally, Section 6, the mind-body connection.
All of this points to one ultimate truth found across our sources. Neurodivergence is a profound mind-body connection. RSD, limerence, PDA, EDS, and autistic burnout, they aren't disconnected flaws or failures. They are interconnected features of a highly complex, incredibly sensitive nervous system that links your emotional, behavioral, and physical self into one holistic reality. Which leaves us with a provocative final question to think about. If your traits are a feature of your nervous system and not a failure, what is your next step? Armed with this powerful new understanding, we really encourage you to seek out validation, pursue a diagnosis if it serves you, and find a community that speaks your language. You are not broken, you just have a different operating system. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we hope this helps you on your journey.